Okay, this was some good reality TV competition and competitiveness that we have not seen in a really long time. I'm talking about Peacock Streaming's The Traitors, hosted by Alan Cumming. Now, this show was a show that did pretty well the first time that it launched, which was on Peacock Streaming originally. But season 2, I feel like it picked up a lot of steam. Not that people didn't enjoy it season 1, but season 2, it really came together. I think it's a perfect cast. Again, Alan Cumming as the host kind of ties everything together. And you had all these unexpected things. You had superstar players like from the Big Brother, Survivor, and Parvati. For Big Brother, you had Dan, who essentially became Traitors, and then they got eliminated, of course. And then Phaedra, who was a little bit like under the radar, and she was funny, and she made it a very long time. But the finale was definitely something we didn't know what was going to happen. Kate Chastain definitely jumped in, and she made a mark towards the end. But something did change a little bit season 2. There were some challenge competitors. You know, the challenge comes from MTV originally, and they got some shows also on Paramount Plus. And this season, there was a huge sprinkle of Bravo reality stars as well, including Larsa Pippen, MJ from Shaws of Sunset, She by Sheree of Real Housewives of Atlanta, along with Phaedra Parks and Tamra from The Real Housewives of OC. But to really mix things up, Kate Chastain came back for a second season. You know, the first season, she kind of wasn't showing up. She was funny, but this time, season 2, there was a competitiveness. So going into the finale, you're thinking, is she going to take the whole thing? You know, within the cast, you're chosen to be a faithful or a traitor. And it just seems like, what's the one that you would like to do? The traitor is a definite different scenario, and there's a lot more stories that you have to maintain. And I think like even when Phaedra kind of timed out a little bit, Kate Chastain also had that same thing where she was like, look, I came in middle of the season, I was kind of like put in this position, I wanted the last 3 people to be the faithfuls, and it kind of was going to be what it was. But Kate was actually very interesting because even Trishelle and CT, who seemed to be with some type of a pact throughout the season, even though they had certain parts of the season that they weren't always on the right page together, it was very interesting because you think going into one of these final banishments, you think, what's going to happen? It's so predictable, right? But no, Kate Chastain managed to kind of mix it all up. You know, coming off of when Phaedra had left the episode before, Sandra from Survivor, who's won 2 times and is very assertive, she kind of locked in, like, wait a minute, why did Kate Chastain say these things that would have alluded towards the knowledge she had of Phaedra, who did actually turn out to be a traitor? And so Sandra was kind of always looking at that, and Kate just kind of maneuvered and made stories and changed the game a couple times. So it was very interesting that instead of Kate Chastain going home at that banishment, it was actually Sandra who went home. And to me, that was good television. I thought that was enough. I thought this finale is great. And I don't know who you wanted to win, but for me, I was like, this is unexpected. But lo and behold, the show keeps going. Now, Trishelle... she was assertive all season. She did kind of state that she laid low at the beginning, and then her plan of attack through, I guess, her experience level of being a poker player, that she was going to hit hard towards the end of the season. And like I said, the interesting thing with Trishelle and CT is they had an on again, off again bond. Anyways, with that being said, you've got Sandra who ends up leaving, which was, again, a big shock. Kate Chastain, who's like, wow, I'm actually really good at this. I might go ahead and send Alan Cumming home. I mean, she was really getting her mojo, and she's so funny, and it's fun to watch. So then you have this final moment, you know, it's the Scotland wonderful castle experience, and it's Kate who's, you know, maintaining her story, and then you've got MJ, who sort of was under the radar in the best possible way, and then you've got CT, who's been playing pretty hard, and of course, Trishelle, who's been playing pretty hard. Like I said, Trishelle, CT, friendly, they've done the challenge 20 years. I mean, CT was on the Paris season, and then Trishelle from, what was it? She was from Louisiana, from the Real World season in Las Vegas, and it was all like chaotic and so much going on, but that was 20 years ago. So I really didn't know what to expect with Trishelle, but I only knew that Trishelle and CT sort of had a bond. So going into this last banishment, it was just so much going on. To me, I was a little like, what is actually happening? So you get this moment where there are the 4 of them. They essentially do locate that Kate Chastain, you're the one. You're the one that is obviously the traitor. She had no problem with it because, like I said, she came in the middle of the season. She already did a first season, and she kind of wore it with the badge of honor, like, hey, I did better than I did the first season, and I'll be able to go ahead and like be proud that the remaining three faithfuls could go ahead and split the money. That's the whole point of the game. But then you got the three faithfuls and everyone feels good about it. Like they're like, okay, this finally worked. We finally got our last faithful out, because they knew they had to get a faithful out because she by Sheree did get sent home previously. So really it should be the end of the game. Alan Cumming gives them the decision. What do you want to do? There's three of you. Do you want to split it? Now for me, this was the question that was in my head. I said, if they choose the wrong person to banish, like if you were to say MJ, which essentially was the demise, it was MJ, but she's actually a faithful, I thought in my head, I don't know how you feel about it, I thought if you overshot, like in the way that CT and Trishelle did, even though you saw that they were not on the same page, I think if you overshoot that situation and say, okay, we're going to continue to banish, because that's the whole point, continue to banish or be done and you all three split, no matter what goes on. So in my head, I was like, oh no, they should for sure, CT and Trishelle, they decided it was going to essentially be MJ. MJ should have said, no, I'm not a traitor, I'm a faithful, you're trying to banish me, it's not going to work. And then MJ should have walked away with all the money. The only reason I wonder that is because what if you are deeply in an alliance with somebody and you kind of know, okay, traitors are all gone, these are all faithfuls, let's just sort of get MJ out, or whoever that person would be, so we could take more of the prize money. Like they made it seem like it was like, ooh, I wonder, you know, oh, I wonder if CT crossed me, is what Trishelle tried to say, but I don't really know that that's what it was. I think Trishelle really winked to CT and said, we're taking this. And there was a little bit of a decoy. I'm not saying it was just that, but I think with Trishelle, there was certainly strategy. So the whole thing is just like so crushing for MJ. And then CT and Trishelle, they walk away with all the money. Alan Cumming is happy. It's a great season. The Scotland castle rather, it's like done beautifully visually. What a great show. They're coming back for a season 3. A whole lot going on the reunion, which was hosted by Andy Cohen. You got to hear about Larsa Pippen and Marcus Jordan. Are they? Aren't they? Peppermint had some very heartfelt emotions, which I thought were valuable. And there was a lot of really interesting things in terms of MJ really sticking it to Trishelle and CT. Now, John jumped in and was like, it's a game. And I think overall it was actually really cool because some of the cast members on the reality side, they were more like, oh yeah, this is just for us to get on TV and have fun and let our personality shine. Whereas the gamers, they call it, which would be Survivor, Big Brother, and The Challenge, those types of cast members, they move differently because they know how to win these shows. Whereas outside of Peter, because Peter did come from The Bachelor and he sort of played like a gamer. The whole thing is great because, like I said, it gives you the moment to be able to fly under the radar, be unassuming, and do really well like Phaedra did. But then it has somebody really strong like a Dan from Big Brother, like not really be able to do his old tricks without them saying, wait a minute, Dan, you haven't given up anything, therefore you might be that person. I don't know, I could talk on and on about it. The reunion was definitely cool. I thought everyone looked amazing. Pete and Ekin-Su, not Ekin-Su, are they dating? I guess they were kind of stating that that was maybe part of a situation, but I feel like everyone showed up, so whether they are or aren't, it was just a fun reunion. Johnny Bananas, he was like, you know, very present, of course discouraged. You know, Dan says, well, you know, I think that it had to be you or CT. That's like your best friend. And Johnny's like, that is not my best friend. If you watch the show all these years, you would know. And while I understand that, there is just an alliance that's going to be the same way that there was always the Bravo Alliance, which had a big amount of numbers. MJ, Sheree, Kate Chastain, Phaedra, and Larsa, and Tamara. You have to also assume, even if Johnny and CT aren't that close, they have the line of communication. Same thing with CT to Trishelle. What was interesting is there was only 2 Big Brother cast members, and I really feel like there could be a couple other Big Brother cast members. Now, I did a whole nother episode talking about who I think should be on the Challenge All-Stars 3. It is definitely coming. The game is definitely fun. Alan Cumming as the host. I always say he doesn't host the show. It's a role of a lifetime. I mean, he's just so good at it. And it is a reality competition show that feels different. It feels unique. And the personalities are really, really fun. I could go on and on about it, but I was just like floored by what happened with the finale, floored by what happened with MJ. And I guess the question is, should MJ take it with a grain of salt because that's the game? And these are the things that are to be expected. You know what it made me think of? Remember when Johnny Bananas in the challenge took the money from Sarah? It's like you are in the game, you're within every possibility to do that. And yeah, people will judge you, but that's the game, I guess. So MJ had a little more of a emotional thing to it where she just kept on and kept on and kept on. And I don't blame her, but at the same time, like Trishelle and CT, they were playing the game. And I think, yeah, that was the big reunion conversation. Some people were playing the game fully, and some were playing like loyalty and stuff like that. Like a Phaedra, she made that mention. I believe MJ made that mention. Larsa said, well, we're just on TV to have fun and look pretty. Larsa's always gonna tell you a fantasy of just how beautiful she is and how because there was the rumors of her breaking up with Marcus Jordan or not, and she's like, yeah, we're fine, we're good, we're beautiful. So the question is going to be, who do you want to see on season 3 of the Traitors coming to Peacock streaming probably very soon, and who what do you think of the finale? What do you think of CT? What do you think of Trishelle? Are they the rightful winners? Did they have a little deception? Did you want to see Kate Chastain go all the way? There's so many questions, but it was a really fun show. I don't usually watch this show. A show that I do watch as far as reality TV competition is the Real World. No, well, technically, Real World Road Rules, The Challenge All-Stars, which is on Paramount Plus. So that's a reality TV competition show that I watch every episode. I do a recap, and it's like fun to watch along, you know, to watch the show and then to like come back with your opinions. We're not always right, but the show is so fun and it's so compelling. So Traitors season 2, Peacock streaming, Alan Cumming. Maybe he'll win an Emmy Award because the show was that good. Any favorite cast members? Let's talk about it. Until next time, we will see you. Or what's a way that Alan Cumming would say goodbye? Oh, actually, what he would do was he would get your picture and be like, he'd be like, you are banished. You're out of here. But I liked it, man. It was good. The Traitors season 2. It was all right. I'm glad I watched it.